Okay, so I'm back with another episode of the 8 Meter Project, episode number 2. And it's going to be another video where it's going to be 2 weeks of training condensed down into one video. So hopefully you enjoy this long video. I'm going to try and do it so there is just 1 week each week, and I'll just upload the week prior, I guess, of training. So yeah, that's the plan going forward, hopefully, but we'll see. I can be a little bit flaky sometimes with uploading. Just kind of depends if I'm busy on in a given week, at a given time. It can be hard to try and make time for these things. I'll always make time for training, but when it comes to editing, I don't really make money off this. I more just do it as a fun little project, a fun thing to just track my training, because training means quite a lot to me. But enough of this gooey show of emotion. I'll get into the video. So yeah, the biggest sort of thing that's cropped up over the last few weeks has just been the injury that I've got, which is plantar fasciitis. Seemed to crop up after doing a 200 meter tempo session. I ran them the past 2 weeks on a track, and then the day after I did it, I woke up and my sort of plantar fascia, my heel, was at, I'd say, a 4 to 5 out of 10 pain. So it kind of had spiked up quite drastically from not being sore at all to then all of a sudden being at this level of pain. And I think it was just the fact that I was running a lot on concrete. Most of my sessions were concrete or the track, and that was quite a lot. It was quite a volume spike from what I was doing before, which was maybe a few track sessions a week, 2 track sessions a week really, and distances of, total volumes of maybe 300 meters or so of training. And yeah, that just blew my tendon up, my plantar fascia. It blew it up because it just wasn't expecting the load increase, I guess. And if I'd maybe done it on grass from the start, I do feel I could have been in a better situation. The only issue is there is grass tracks in Scotland. We do actually have access to that, which is quite nice. And there is grass pitches, obviously, that you can use. It's just they're not always the most usable, which is why I was running on the track. So the first week, at least, it was dry. I probably could have done it on the grass. The second week I was considering doing it on the grass, but it was just a bit wet. I think there was rain forecast, which then didn't even end up coming, so I probably could have done it on the grass. But by that point, it's I was at the track, warmed up, and there was still rain forecast, so I was expecting it to rain during the session. But yeah, I just kind of made a little mistake, a little error in my judgment, and that kind of has, I wouldn't say it's cost me anything per se at the moment. I think I'm still in a good position. I'm taking it a little bit easier in this current week whilst I'm recording this audio. So I'm going to see how the plantar fascia responds to taking it a bit easier, and then I'll maybe try and ease back into doing things. So I'm still going to try and do my best to get some good quality training in. Just going to adjust things a little bit, make some adjustments that hopefully will allow this injury to heal up. Doesn't seem to get any worse when I do lifts or anything. It does seem to be just more elastic activities like jumping, sprinting. Those are the sort of things that are going to cause issues for me, so it's trying to do that in an intelligent way where I'm still getting some good quality volume in, still building on qualities, because we are trying to build that base early on, get strong, and then translate that strength down the line into running down the long jump runway, running down the track, jumping, those sort of things. That's what we ideally want to do. We want to see that strength be more not converted into power really, because strength is part of the power equation, but we want to see the strength be transferable to those things. That's kind of the biggest and most important thing for a sprinter, for a jumper, for someone that's just training for these more explosive things, is to get strong and make sure that the strength is actually strength that is usable. So yeah, that's the thoughts on the injury. At least I'll now go over some more stuff to do with the training this cycle. So yeah, sprinting, I obviously adjusted that to doing it more on grass and more forgiving surfaces, and I do think it did help a little bit. At least I think it prevented me from making things worse. At least I then did something silly on Monday of this week. I was just going to rest completely and then tried to do some like calf raises, and that seemed to aggravate it a little bit. And the calf raises I didn't even go to a gym to do them. I did them at like home, pushing my hands into a doorway as like my resistance, and then that seemed to just cause issues the next day. So 10 out of 10, would not recommend to do that, but that's what I did, and I have to just accept that I did something stupid. So now I'm going to try and fix that, and well, I guess not fix that, but I'm going to try and move forward and not cause any further issues. So yeah, but in regards to the past 2 weeks of training, one thing that's been nice, and it's been nice this whole cycle, I guess, but just training has been a bit more fun. I added some jumps in, did jumps over shoe boxes the last 4 weeks ago. I did that. Then the last 2 weeks I did some box jumps. I did a vertical jump test, which was also quite nice. I was happy with the way the jump looked. It wasn't a great number, but it's a starting point that I can go off of the first 4 week block. So yes, it was 86.7 86.78, sorry, that's what it was, 86.78 centimeters, which is ways off my best. I think I did 94.8. That's my all-time best. That's actually from 2021. I don't often bring the jump mat out because it is just a bit of a cumbersome piece of kit to try and maneuver. But yeah, last time I used it was a while ago, and yeah, 94.8 was what I got. My best hypothetical, so you can actually work out roughly what your vertical jump would be on a jump mat off of adding time onto your flight time, because the jump mat, I think it's at standard, it adds on, I can't remember the exact number, I do want to say it's 92 milliseconds. So if you add 92 milliseconds onto your flight time on a counter movement jump, that would give you your jump mat vertical jump number. So I'm pretty sure I worked it out, and it was 860 milliseconds is equal to like a 40-inch vertical on a jump mat. Now obviously you can kind of body English and cheat it a little bit. I try and hold myself to a high standard and just jump in a normal way. I don't try and like lift my feet up or like bend my torso. I try not to do things that are going to artificially inflate the flight time. Obviously flight time is probably not going to be super accurate because there's always going to be like little things that you do, but regardless I try to just hold myself to this like higher standard. So yeah, that's kind of the jumping side of things. It's not a great number, but a number that's a start, and I can work on trying to improve that week to week. So yeah, and I think something else, and this is something I've been thinking about recently because I read something about it, and it was the fact that sometimes you're actually just going to need more time to dissipate the fatigue that you develop in training. And that's something that I think is very true for this final week of training that I was in. I could feel all week that I was quite fatigued. Like even the week before on like the Wednesday session or on the Friday session, I could feel that the fatigue had really built up quite a bit, and I was like in desperate need of this deload session, this deload week. So that's something that I read recently that I did think was quite interesting, and it's very true to this situation. I did training this week, so my first training session this week was on Wednesday, so I had a little bit more rest. So Friday was the last really hard training session, and then didn't really train until Wednesday of this week. And the Wednesday training session, it was like very good. Like the lift wise, my 90 kg power clean was up by, I think it was 0.13 meters per second. So yeah, that's a good, solid, sizable improvement. And then even just like squats, they felt like they were moving really well. Like strength felt like it was a lot better than where it felt even on the Friday of that week, which is when I tested my vertical jump. So I do think there's a case to be made that I was just very fatigued and I needed a little bit more time to unload to at least super compensate. It doesn't matter too much with a first cycle, like the unloading. Like ideally I would have just got straight back into a training cycle, even with this like little bit of residual fatigue that's in my system, because early on it doesn't really matter. Like you're just trying to build the base. Performance and performing at your best isn't something that matters too much right now, right? You want to be performing at your best like months down the line. So there's that. And on top of that, the sprints the past few weeks, because I've been changing the surface, it's been hard to get consistent quality technique with them, because I feel like if I'm running on grass, for example, sometimes it's going to be hard to just get those quality contacts running on a grass hill as opposed to like a concrete hill. I think the reason I wanted to use concrete so bad is because it's a nicer surface to sprint on compared to like a grass hill usually, because I find that at least a concrete hill is going to be more flat, right, compared to a grass hill where it's going to be a bit more uneven. Like a concrete road is going to just be more flat, better to sprint on. You're going to get better quality contacts. But I should have been thinking more about, well, it doesn't really matter too much at the moment how things look and how things go. But yeah, as I say, that's just like a mistake. Hopefully anyone that's watching this can learn from my mistakes and make better, more sound decisions than me. But yeah, and that's like another thing. So this training cycle, I've actually done this before. I did this exact 4-week training cycle back in, I think it was November of 2023, right before I went to go see Mr. Tom Barnes. I think that's when I last did this training cycle. So, oh no, actually, I think it was October. So the October, like round about that time, is when I did it, I think. One of those two. And it's been nice to do it whilst I'm a different athlete now. I'm obviously a lot stronger, and I can really see that in like the lifts if I compare where I was at then to now. It's refreshing to see that I'm in a much better position being this early on in my off-season prep compared to being sort of later, more deep into the off-season prep at that point. So that's certainly nice and something positive to, I guess, end the video on. I don't have much more to really say. Obviously the Olympic lifts as well, can definitely tell that I'm fatigued and that it's not quite there on the day, but yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching the video and stay tuned for next week. Next week's will probably be quite a short video because I've not been training as much this week, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you for watching.